Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another Quantum Spirituality show right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest, Yochi Intebi. I hope I have done an honors.
Right,
Difficult name to say, especially with somebody who gets so tongue-tied, but thank you so much for that. And he has a new movie coming out called The Real Exorcist, and the spiritual truth about a young woman who has a gift to put things right, to exorcise the demons, and she's a clairvoyant. And, you know, in today's world, we're looking at a lot of what this is as not kind of just entertainment or hoax anymore, that people do have a gift of spirituality. People do have a gift of being able to move energy, understand energy, and do things. And although in the movie she might be able to do more than we can in reality, the basis of what she is doing as this supernatural phenomenon is about justice and putting things right and making sure that the evil within us does not win. And and it's a, you know, it's the movie hasn't come out yet, but it will be out soon. And you know, really the story that you're telling and the way that you're telling it in a way of not just like a sensational movie, but more with the story behind it of an awakening is wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me on the show today. Thank you.
My pleasure. What compelled you to want to do this movie?
Well, I'm actually one of the producer. Okay, so the original story was written by the person. His name is Riho Okawa. Yeah, Riho Okawa he's the founder and CEO of one of the biggest spiritual movements, or the most influential spiritual movement in Japan today. It's called Happy Science. But I'm also a part of it as well as an organization. And he was the one who actually came up with the original story. It's, believe it or not, sometimes people believe it, sometimes people don't. It's okay, but it's based on his true experience.
Oh,
okay?
right.
He actually is a clairvoyant, and he can see things, and he can do other things. So everything is based on what his ability is actually. So he can put the stories together. And his daughter is a screenplay writer. So her name is Sayaka Okawa. So she wrote the script, very nice, full done script. So few producers got together and one director. And there's like 4 or 5 producers together, including myself. So we started putting this movie together, and about a year and a half ago, and now it's ready for US market. It's already done in Japan. Actually, it's still playing.
Good.
Within this COVID situation, we were able to release the movie in Japan in May.
Right.
So it's been about 11 weeks, I think, and 200 theaters is like a major release.
Oh yeah, especially in today's environment.
Pretty good. So we were not lucky, but we knew we were going to do this. So we had to go this. So everybody else was like stopping, but we decided this movie has to go out to the world. So let's just do it. And the movie theater started to open, right the week when we decided to release it. So we were lucky, and I think it was kind of meant to be.
Right, we're the old spiritual timing, right? You know, and a lot of people have woken up to quote spirituality, like the quantum physicists is understanding that people that live on a spiritual plane are living at a higher frequency, a higher energy. And that when we tap into that energy and we also channel from the universe, our divine wisdom, that we are guided into what we are here to do, what instrument we are, and what our abilities are. And so having a show, having a movie out right now where a lot of people are feeling constrained. But at the same time, it's a wonderful time to clear your old canvas and paint a new one, and to embrace that this world that we need to paint now has to be one with more compassion,
Yes.
more balance,
Yes.
more equality,
Yes.
and more justice. And the justice
Yes.
coming from the heart, not
Yes.
coming from the
Exactly.
rules.
No, it's from the heart. It's gotta be, everything has to be based on love that gives.
Yes.
That's like the basic thing. It's so simple, but it's so difficult to do nowadays.
Right.
And
Well,
it's been going on for the past 2,000 years, 5,000 years.
since time began,
Yeah,
since, yeah. And for a lot of I don't know if you watched the Lord of the Rings, but it was the elves were saying it's now the time of man.
Yep.
And the elves took a back seat. And when we handed it over to man, yes, they're incredibly creative with technology and this and that, etc. But our compassion coming
Yep.
from our heart, coming from our soul, has been so lacking. And we are
Yes.
now stepping into a new era where we
Exactly.
need to step into the powers that are within us
Yep.
for the greater good.
That's right.
Not by somebody else's benefit of law or rule or
Yep.
control,
Yep.
but from the free will of the universe, of the divine presence, whatever you want to call it, and allow it to show us what our gifts are. And this is about his story, but a young woman who is clairvoyant, and she has the ability to see where the wrongs are and to put them right. And it's very smart to take this message but put it into kind of almost a thriller, so that it captures people's more imagination, but leaves them with something. That was really great action. What she said here and what she did there and what she meant there is liminally going to kind of be penetrated there.
That's why it's called the Real Exorcist.
Yes.
There's Exorcist movies out there, but usually they'll categorize as horror. If you think this, it's a horror, it's a scary movie, right? So this movie has a little bit of spice, but it's not a horror,
right?
Because the Real Exorcist, basically the horror movie's intention when you create the movie is to make people scary. So when they go to the movie, it actually doesn't matter the content and how it ends, as long as they get this fearful and scariness, and they'll kind of give them the actually relief, right? It's a stress relieving activity, just watching a horror movie. And we didn't want to do that, but yet we wanted to make it so it's a little bit has the attention of like a thriller. That's why I call this a Japanese supernatural fantasy thriller. A little bit of a spice of horror. So the biggest difference between the regular Exorcist and the Real Exorcist is that there's something you can bring back home with. There's small little teachings here and there. You might say, maybe that might apply to myself, and let me practice this. Or maybe, that's exactly the same thing actually happened to me 5 years ago. Maybe that was the reason why. Maybe it's not, but at least there's a way of new thinking, the way
igniting something within them.
Trying to ignite here and there, depending on, you just never know where it will ignite in the person. So that's why there's about 3 or 4 short stories within this movie that will the character's name is Sayuri. She's a young girl, clairvoyant. She'll just start to solve these little issues that she encounters, and through that, hopefully, we will learn something from it. So that was our main intention in this movie.
Of course, when you think about The Exorcist, you're either thinking of the priest, out you demon, or you're thinking of the head spinning around. And so what we're really looking at is that we want to exorcise the evil that is in the world, but to understand the evil is within us. It is the actions that we do, and that we need to have the vibration, the clairvoyant vibration, to diminish the evil, but also to show people that they can raise their vibration and be the love and be the solution that they seek.
Yes, it's not just about those superheroes, who has particular power, but it's all about us. It comes down to, at the end of the day, it's each one of us has the same ability.
Yes.
Some people are gifted with it, so hopefully they'll use it for the positiveness. When they use it for the positiveness, they're called heroes, right?
Yes.
And I'm so happy that a person like Sayuri, she is a hero, where she does things for other people. Because if you have those power, usually people would tend to want to use it for their own selves, with their self ego, and do it for themselves, to benefit themselves. But sometimes you have to, if you are a hero, then you wouldn't do that. You would put yourself aside and use that energy and power for other people. And that is exactly the same thing. You don't have to be able to see through the person's mind or the remote feeling. You can do whatever you do every day in your daily life. It's the same thing. Whether are you going to do it just for yourself, or are you going to do it for others? That's exactly.
We can all be a hero.
Yes.
In our kindness and our compassion and our consideration and our collaboration, in our caring, in our in our love. We're all here to discover what our particular instrument is.
Yeah.
To learn what that instrument is and bring it to the orchestra of life, because we are all here in self-discovery of what that instrument is.
That's
and we're all
exactly
here
right.
to learn what is our strength, what is our ability, where is our courage, what gift have I been given that is here to contribute to making it into a better place. So in every one of us there is a hero. It's just a question of stop looking at the superheroes on the outside and start looking on the inside.
That's right. And God gave us, each one of us, a gift. Okay, so it's different by person by person. Some people are good at this, some people are really bad at it, but they're good at it. There's always ups and downs in it. So each one of us have something that you can contribute to the world, and it's whether you can find it or you can't find it. Hopefully if we can all find it within ourselves, that comes from the belief. Sari talks how important it is to believe and to have a gratitude.
Gratitude is a huge component of it.
Right?
I mean, when you look at all the superheroes that we worship today and you look at their origins, every single one of them came from a place of discontent or fear or the old cosmic 2x4. And every one of them had to go into that self-discovery of what their ability is, and then master that ability and then bring it forth as good. And what made them heroes is because they used it for good. Otherwise, they would be the evil villains. Right?
They can become a evil. So it's a yin and yang thing,
The balance is
the flip of coin. And again, it doesn't matter whether you have a power or not. It's exactly the same thing applies to every one of us.
Yes. Yeah. I don't care, what your faith is. It is. We have to understand scientifically. This is why when quantum physics came about and the understanding of energy, where they understood what love frequencies at, and that love is God, because it's all of us inside, whether you want to call it, as one of my hosts used to call it, Gus, God, universe, spirit. It doesn't matter what you want to call it, but it is all energy from the universe, because we are from the universe.
That's right.
And it's how we use our energy in a way that is positive and productive for the benefit of, right? And we get our own benefit from it because you get so much from giving.
That's right.
That you receive in gratitude. That's something that is more enriching and more abundant than anything else.
Yep. The power of gratitude, I think we really, really need to discover.
Yes.
People say, oh yes, gratitude is good. It's important. You have to thank people around you and things like that. It's done. But actually, it has the truth. It actually has the power in reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like the wind. It's like the same thing as love. You can't see it, but you can feel the breeze of the wind.
Right.
Exactly. It actually exists, but people will just think about it in such a surface level. We don't realize how much power it actually has, because prayer and the energy of the gratitude actually exists, and it will change yourself and it will change the other person as well. Of course, a negative energy does the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how this entire world is created, based on the energy field. So I think if you can really, really understand the power of gratitude, if you try to thank other people, not just the surface
You're
level,
right.
but
Yes, not
really,
just a thank you.
that's
I don't know. It's about
that's
really truly being
how,
grateful for
yeah,
whatever action has been
right.
taken, however
If you,
big, however small.
that's right. Doesn't matter how
Mm,
it's the type. If you can really feel that gratitude energy that's coming out from within yourself, then you will feel this light and energy
yes.
and warmth that would, like, surround you and
Mm,
embrace you, wrap around you, whatever how you want to explain this. It's so difficult to explain it, but like that feeling of being loved by this, I call it God, okay, loved
mm,
by God or Buddha. You can feel it by giving gratitude to others.
right.
It'll come back to you, and that's how this entire universe works.
Yes.
So,
And when we discover it, we realize we are a part of it.
mm-hmm.
And we start feeling everything. Like the forest, why is the forest so strong? It's made up of all different kinds of trees. Some don't get
Yep.
much sun, some do.
Mm-hmm.
Some have creeks, some don't. But you look at the matrix of the trees and the way that they communicate with each other through the
Mm-hmm.
roots. There
Yep.
is literally a fiber optic matrix there,
Right.
and they support one another. And even when a
Mm-hmm.
tree falls,
Mm-hmm.
from its fall shoots new roots.
Right.
And
Right.
so life continues on. And if we
Yeah.
understand we're in a vessel during this human life to experience life in a different way,
Right.
right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yep. Yep.
And when we understand that and become connected with the water, feel the conduit,
Mm-hmm.
dance with the wind, we see nature and we feel the ground. Mind you, Mother Earth is not very happy right now. So there's a lot of negative vibration there.
Yep.
But when we are willing to become a part of something,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we can truly live in gratitude.
Yep. 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 I agree. Yes. And again, in other hand, with that, we are still there are like millions of humans living on this earth. So if we are just alone, or there's only few of us, it'll be so easy because we'll be like social distance so away, and
Yes.
ah, do my thing and everything, and let's get the energy working together. But God didn't create us to be like that, but He kind of packed human beings on this earth. And
Yeah.
okay, guys, let's see what you can do with it. There's millions of people, and see how you can, communicate and contribute to each other, and let's see how it turns out, and hopefully, things will turn out in better ways. But yeah,
Did you see the movie Doctor Strange?
yes, yes,
There's a scene there when his mentor pushes him out of his body and says, "What do you think you
yeah,
are? Just flesh and
yeah,
bones?" And then
mm,
he suddenly discovers as a spirit he can go anywhere and do
yeah,
anything.
right,
That's the beauty of when you tap into your spirit. You're not
mm-hmm,
constrained by the vehicle.
mm-hmm,
You're not
right,
constrained by the body. You are now open to travel the universe,
right,
to
right,
feel everything, and to
mm-hmm,
tap into the everything and nothingness all at once. And it's a
right,
beautiful experience to have. And that's why we see people who have been gifted with the art of healing or clairvoyance or
mm-hmm,
of many different type of gifts that are in that orchestra. It's because they are as one with the universe and know how
yeah,
to use that energy.
right,
And
right,
we all have an ability on some form. Some are more
mhm,
earthbound and can
yeah,
communicate with the earth. Some are more cosmic. I'm a more cosmic person.
mm-hmm,
And it is tap into where that energy is and allow it to take you where it
yep,
is you need to go.
yes, exactly. So I think Cyrie's got the same gift, and she, yes, the one thing I want to talk is about when she's asked, how to, fight the negative energy or evil. There's a boy, the guy
Mm,
that is in the movie, and he's helped Sari out, with her spiritual exercises, and she points out three things. One is to be honest,
yeah.
don't lie. I mean, it's so simple, be honest. But I wonder, am I being honest every day? I never
Mm,
lie. Think
mm,
about that.
yes.
Not many people can. It's so
Who am I
easy,
fooling?
but not maybe I'm fooling myself.
Yes,
Are you honest
yes.
with yourself to begin with? Are you not lying to yourself?
Hmm.
Don't lie to others, but don't lie to yourself. Be honest with
Yeah.
yourself. accept who you are. So she also talks about making efforts, always make effort. So, it's the idea of self-help. Sometimes, when you're in a really difficult situation, it might be difficult to make efforts, but, taking step-by-step approach in everyday life, again, people might say, no, I don't want to do that.
I can't be bothered. Where's the downloadable app?
Right? But making efforts one by one every day, build their life up. And she says, I think always be positive, and of course, in any circumstances. So being positive energy and being honest and making step-by-step effort, that's how you become this kind of person. So what she's saying is it's so simple, but yet I think it's the guidance and guideline for every human being to begin with.
The honesty with self is the biggest journey.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to actually look at, well, I'm not lying to myself. You have been all your life because you've been living by somebody else's expectation, by somebody else's dictation, by rules and regulations that no longer apply, that suppress you. So that's not being honest with yourself, because you've not allowed yourself to become. Right? So in looking at a lie has been told you and you've been living this a lie, means that honesty has not been around you. And you've been operating on a dishonest message rather than an honest message. When you look at that and go, well, what is the honest message for me? It is an inside-out job. It is a communication with your soul, your heart, and your spirit. And talking to them of, who am I? What am I here to do? How can I ignite this gift? And what is the truth that lies within me? And that's the first step, and that's the hardest step to take.
Yeah, it is. So because we tend to create our competitors. I don't want to say any competitors outside ourselves. He's better than me in this way, better than me in that way, so I'm losing against him. So I have to be better than him, or better person.
Comparison is a killer.
Everything is it doesn't matter. It's about who you are, and don't look at other person, because there's something within you that you have the strength, but you have to fight yourself.
You do. You are battling yourself, and look again at so many superheroes who get suddenly given a gift, and it's like, I don't want this. And especially there is a show that is being repeated on American TV right now called Medium, and it started up in 2005 and ran for a few years. And it's about a woman who's a clairvoyant, but she has dreams, and she works with the DA office, and she sees who the dead people talk from the solving, and then of course her children end up with it as well, because they have it as well. And she's like, I didn't ask for this, but it was a gift I've been given, so therefore I am responsible for what I do with it. And we may not always like, empaths don't always like being empathic, because we feel everything, like the weight on our shoulders, the anger in the earth. But on the other hand, it is a gift that I'm grateful for, because it allows me to tune in and to experience what is around me, so I know what to do with it. So, it is, again, finding that balance within what you've been given, or what is within you. And don't go, I don't want that. It is like, it's unique to you. It's unique to you. Discover what that gift is, and and learn to balance with it, the yin and the yang of it, because it's not always going to be hallelujah. It's all going to have consequences, right? But your gift isn't somebody else's gift. Don't compare. Do I have the gift that he has? No, you have your own gift to use in your own way. That's what makes you so beautifully imperfect. Right? And perfectly imperfectly perfect.
You're right. Flowers, right? Every flower is different.
Yes.
Sometimes it's big, small, different colors. The leaves are different. If you look at it,
even
flower,
humans are.
But them coming together, it looks so beautiful.
Yes, a bunch of flowers that are all different shapes and colors, dancing together. Beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes they're the big sunflowers, and they're the small ones.
Yeah.
It's okay to be
a
small.
Daisy, a sunflower, equally beautiful.
You don't have to be big sunflower. There's the beauty in everything. So
right. In the ants, although they could be annoying, mosquitoes. I think they're still looking for a reason for a mosquito. But the smallest little thing in the world has a purpose. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
why have we been conditioned
Good.
to only look at giants?
Yep, yep,
Right?
yep.
And giants are cumbered with the size of it all,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they don't want to be up there as a giant. They prefer to
Yes.
be smaller and more connected. So everybody's always looking, I wish I was like you. But when you learn to embrace who you really are and find that
Mhm.
love and gratitude within you, then
Yep.
you are at one with the universe and you're happy to be you.
That's right. That's right. That happiness is something, like unconditional happiness is something you cannot exchange with anything else. It's
Right.
just when you feel that, that's all you need. You know.
Yes.
Sometimes I wish I would just be like this for the rest of my life. It doesn't work like that, of course, because you have to go out to the world and
Yeah.
contribute. Different things gonna hit you, and all the negative energy is gonna hit you, and you're gonna go down and come back again. But the basic of that, and the peacefulness and to love, the happiness that you can feel, when you connected, that can become your baseline. And once you have that, there's nothing it can defeat you.
Right.
Become immortal. Yep.
I mean, we talk about heaven and hell. And my
Mm-hmm.
perspective of it is heaven is the universe. When we tap into it, we are abundant. Hell is the life we put ourselves through here when we resist.
Okay. All
Right?
right. That's a way to put
And
it.
when we look at people who are evil, who are negative, who are doing things, they're not connected to soul, they're not connected to heart.
Right.
Right? They have
Yep.
no
Also.
consciousness whatsoever, or they're driven by
Yep.
self-importance, greed, or in the need for comparison, and they're putting
Mhm.
themselves through hell
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everybody else around them.
that's right. Yep. So it's a negative energy field that
Yes.
surrounds.
Yeah. And energy begets energy. So if you're negative, you're going to attract it.
That's right.
And if
The
you're positive, you're going to attract that. Yeah.
yeah, power of attraction works in both ways.
Yes, it certainly does. So,
Yeah.
this is what we say to people who are in that, recovery of soul and heart is be careful who you're around.
Right.
And
Exactly.
right,
Yeah.
be around the people that will uplift you, be around the
Hmm.
people that will feed you, be
Yes.
around the people that will guide you.
Yep.
It's your journey, but you are
Hmm.
supported.
Yep. Yep.
Right, and it shows how you can become. And
Hmm.
the exorcism that we do in our own lives is of the demons that we carry within us.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 So what do you think is who you are? So,
Yeah.
but again, it's so difficult because if you think in one way, it's so hard to change that way of thinking because you don't realize you're thinking that way. You
Right.
know what I
Yes,
mean?
you have to be cognitive of your thoughts.
Yeah,
Are you on
somebody.
an old program? Do you
Yeah,
need to change the programming?
right,
Because
right.
your thoughts are going to attract. Why is it never working for me? Nothing ever good
That's
happens. Well, you
right.
just said nothing
It's
ever good
you,
happens, so
right?
it's not going to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
saying it's not gonna happen to you. But it's so difficult to I don't know, explain this to a person who thinks that way
Yeah.
because that's why the people who fall into hell will never be able to go back to heaven. It takes long time because they think that's normal and that's reality.
Yes.
They
Yes.
don't see the other side of the world.
No.
It's so the other world is so interesting and also at some time difficult but
Yeah.
interesting because what we think can be changed, but sometimes it's so difficult to change because you don't realize what you're thinking.
You're right.
So,
You know the Emoto experiment, right, with the water, right?
now,
So, um, there's 3 glasses of water. One is ignored, one is given negativity, one is given positivity.
yeah,
The ignored one didn't change at all.
didn't change all
The
that.
negative one,
Mm-hmm.
became dark, and the other one kind of crystallized into a
Mm-hmm,
positive
mm-hmm.
vibration.
Yeah, yeah.
I interviewed his assistant because Himoto died, and his
You know what, right?
assistant that worked with him that's continuing on the work,
Oh,
and kind of measuring the waters around the world and looking at the people who are living there, because the
oh,
land feeds the people, but the people feeds the land, right?
right,
And so
right.
if our energy is negative, we will change the chemistry of the water. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
positive, then the water will be positive and it feeds the positivity.
Right,
So,
right.
it's not just the environment of people we have around it, is what are we feeding this earth? And right now, Mama
That's,
Earth is really, really angry with us because there's just been so much hate in there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
again, we need to exercise that. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we can do it spiritually, but sometimes you are looking at people that are beyond redemption. In this
Right.
lifetime, there is no coming back for them.
Mm.
And really, it unfortunately has to be a delete.
Mm.
And they then have to be reborn and come back and try and learn the
Yeah.
lesson next time.
You're right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Life is like, you know, we call it, life is like a workbook.
Mm.
So when you are born from heaven, you're here to learn something new.
Yes.
Go back to heaven again, come back. So when you come down to earth, you have to think it as like, okay, this is a workbook. So I'm gonna have few different things in our life, my life, your life. That's gonna be a little difficult to overcome, but think of it as a workbook.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that kind of perspective, you know, anything that happens to you negatively, you can, even though it's negative, but you can look at it from different angle. Sometimes it can become positive because, okay, this is something that's I can challenge and I know I can overcome it. And it's life is like a workbook. So if I fail it, it's okay. But
Yeah.
as long as you know it's a workbook, when you die, you go back, you'll be able to be yourself. You know, like, okay, I failed there and there and there, but hey, it wasn't a bad life. But
Right.
if you don't have that, you know, understanding, you just do everything all wrong, and do negative things to the people. And when you die, you're not gonna even realize that
No.
you did something wrong.
I mean, we're here to be accountable for our actions.
Yes.
You know, what happens to us is what happens to us. We don't always ask for it.
Yeah.
But what we do with it. And you know that with the 2,500 shows we have here on this network, the common theme is people who have faced, you know, the cosmic 2x4. You know, it could be loss of job, loss of a loved one, loss of a child, even their own death, loss of business, you know, whatever it is, it's been a loss on many scale. But they found the courage to stand back up. They found the strength to move back through and go, what am I to learn from this? What does
Yes.
this mean? And by going through the process, however slow or fast, it depends on the person and the situation, when they reach the other side and go, I would not change anything, however catastrophic that was, because who I am today, I understand what I'm here for and what I was here to learn.
Yeah.
So we have to be willing to go through that self-discovery, that process. It's not a downloadable app or a quick, you know, chip in the neck. It isn't. It is a learning process. Yeah, that will come, right? Just inject a chip and there you are. You know? Hopefully we're far away from that. I hope.
Yes. All right. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we all want to fight evil. And sometimes these movies that fight evil is a person that we would love to fight. But sometimes it's a system or a frustration or an anger. And whatever the evil is portraying is the anger that we're feeling. And to see somebody exercise it and win, love win, and truth wins, it's like, yes, you know, and it gives us encouragement to go and face what we have to face.
Yeah.
That's why superhero movies have such an impact.
Yeah. So Sayuri is like very nice and calm, and like she looks like an ordinary person, very peaceful. But when she decides to fight an evil, you know, she doesn't change herself. That's what is great about it. It's still the same her, but the energy of, I think it's the I'm trying to think of the English word. Like she already like knows it. She realizes it. You know, she's like, she knows this is gonna. She knows about it already.
Right.
So,
just hadn't ignited it. Just hadn't said it to you.
Perfect English word, but it's not coming out.
Say it in Japanese, and then it'll come to you in English.
Yeah, she already knows it from deep inside what she do. She's connected. She knows that she's connected. So,
I mean, that's what we want in life, is the knowingness.
Yeah.
I've always been governed in my life by, my soul's wisdom speaking to my heart resonating with that truth and giving it to my spirit to go into action,
Mm-hmm.
and my mind knowing what it needs to know when it needs to know it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm in a state of knowingness. I don't need to verify, justify, validate, nothing. It is. It just is. And when you step into that truth, you know it to be truth, because
Right.
there is no intellect in it, in the head.
Right. Right.
Right? It's just connection
Yeah. It's
through
yeah.
everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
you know it to be the truth. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not a doctrine, it is
Right.
a divine presence
Right.
that
Right.
you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's what we want to see people get to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, this movie would give a little hint, about how we can go about our lives. So
So it's his experiences that this young woman is portraying,
yes,
right?
yes,
And is he still exercising people?
he's an exorcist, but he's more like the teacher, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, like world teacher. So he doesn't go out there exercises,
Right,
but
yeah.
he does a lot of lectures. Master Aokawa, we call him Master Aokawa. He does a lot of lectures. He's been writing a lot of books and doing lectures. So he actually wrote more than like 2,500 books or something
Wow.
in the past
So,
30 years or so. And it's always becoming a bestseller in Japan. Not
mm-hmm.
much in the US. There are a few books out there, but
Right.
very, very big in Japan, but not in the US yet.
Well, the US is in transition, major transition, and it's going to go through it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And, I knew the universe was going to bring something to us globally that was
Mm-hmm.
going to unite us. I didn't know it
Right.
was going to be a pandemic, a virus, but it has united us, because we never in the history of time have we had every country go through the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's been catastrophic. There's so many people lost lives, so many people that have lost incomes or lost homes, and there is always going to be loss, because that's what Haglas is, it's disruption. But
Right.
out of those ashes, what can be reborn? Because
Mm-hmm.
this whole message of COVID right now is that we cannot continue on the road that we were on.
That's
That
right.
there is no going back to normal. That normal was corruptive, it was destructive.
Yep.
And we have to go into a new paradigm, into a new
Mm-hmm.
normal. And that's
Yep.
going to take time in that
Yep.
transition of self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the pandemic is going to be around a lot longer in the States,
Mm-hmm.
because it's forcing people into this new paradigm, new way of thinking,
Right.
and they're resisting
Right.
right now. So that
Yeah.
the more the help that they can get, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
just America, there's other countries too,
Yeah,
but
of course.
but the more help that they can get in being able to see possibilities or
Mm-hmm.
understand that what lies within them, and that
Yeah.
this is the time to go in. It's the
Mm-hmm.
time to go in and rediscover what needs to come
Yeah.
out. um, it's going to take a while, but at the same time, I think we're going to be looking at a much better world.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, it seems like things gonna get even worse, right? Right.
It
It
will
seems
always
like,
get worse before they get better.
yeah, but we hear we feel like we are trying to come out of it, but from what I feel or what I see, I think it's gonna get worse in
Hmm.
some aspects. I mean, look at China, what's happening now in
Yeah,
China, right? I mean, it's crazy with the with flood and
yeah.
earthquakes and things like that, and
That's Mother
hey,
Nature, Mama saying,
you know,
you
no,
ain't
no,
going
no,
back to your
no,
old ways.
yeah, things might happen to other countries,
Yeah.
even in Japan, and America. Those things might start to spread. Natural disasters and things like that might happen more,
Hmm. The
and
shake up.
economy,
Yep.
with where we are now, doesn't look like it's gonna go up, right? Just gonna,
Because it has to change.
yeah.
The
So
economy was based on a lie. It was
yeah.
based on the 1%. It
Mm-hmm.
was based on a few people getting rich at the expense of people
Yep.
becoming poor. And basically, what it is, no, we have to flatten the curve,
Right. So
right? And
every
we have to restart and restructure.
Yep. Yep.
Very often you'll see forest fires happening to get rid of all the old, so a
Mm-hmm.
new can come through. Look at Mother
Yeah.
Nature and how when
Yeah.
something looks, the fires in Australia, everything
Mm-hmm.
completely burnt, and then you see a
Yep.
flower coming up.
That's right. That's
Life
right.
will always renew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
what you seed and what you water is what
Mhm.
will grow. And
Yeah.
we really right now have to have that fire.
Yep.
and
Yep.
reseed and rewater into something that is more beneficial for the whole of life kind
Yeah.
on this
Yeah.
planet, not just
Yeah.
mankind,
Mm-hmm.
life kind, because there
Yep.
are so many species that are even more important than we are, but we
Mm-hmm.
have stepped up and felt we're important.
Right. Me too.
And no, we're arrogant.
Yeah. So God's probably giving us a warning. Hey, human beings, don't forget about me. I
Mm-hmm.
think. Do you think you are the creator of the universe? No, no,
Let
no,
me
no,
roll
no.
up my sleeves and tell you.
Not yet. Not yet. And that's what I
Maybe,
can tell
maybe
you.
Mother Nature's looking at us needing to be exercised
Yeah.
right
Exactly.
now.
Exactly. You guys
Yeah,
need to learn a little lesson here and
we do
there.
need a lesson. We do, I was given a saying 2.5 years ago, the universe is here to shake us up, wake us up, for us to step up and change it up.
Mm-hmm.
We are certainly being shaken up. We're
Yeah.
waking up. A lot of people are stepping up, and we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing that we need to change it up. But
Yeah.
again, this process is going to take a while.
Right. 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 And let's see where it takes us to.
Right. So in the movie, she fights evil, but
Yep.
she's also a promoter of finding the clairvoyancy within each and every one of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true. That's
So it's
true.
not just her, the superhero, it's showing how people can be their own superhero.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. And in ordinary life as well,
Yeah.
you don't become a superhero in order to be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the strongest message I think. Of course, good will always win the evil at the end. If that's
Yes.
like a hero movie, but not just that. She's trying to show us from the spiritual perspective of life that there's much more things that's happening around us, and the impact and the effect that's giving us is more than what you can see. I mean,
Yeah.
what's happening to the world is people might just look at it as what's happening. Oh, there is a COVID things happening, there is an earthquake here, there,
Mm.
but we have to start looking at it, what's happening behind the scenes, like why is it happening. So this movie will kind of portray that as well. Things you see is not everything. There's always something happening right behind the scene,
Yeah.
and it's a spiritual effect. We call it, and it's energy that's going on. Is it positive energy and negative energy?
Yeah.
So hopefully,
And every single thing is energy.
yeah,
Every single thing is
of course,
mathematical. It's all an equation that can be
of course,
measured.
yeah,
Right? So no
yeah,
matter what you're doing, you're using energy. It's not something you
yeah,
just plug into a wall.
yeah. I mean, there's supposed to be a space between the hands, right? Because the
Yeah.
particle separated. So
Yeah.
if you really believe, you can put your finger and go through it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I
Yes.
mean, that's the power of the superheroes they can do.
Right.
And it's actually it's true, but we can't do it because we don't believe it. We believe it's a tangible thing. You can never put your fingers through the rock because
Right.
you just don't believe it. But if you believe it, it happens, right? But
Well, I mean,
that
things
may
like
take
the,
a while for humans.
yeah, it will. And look at, the Matrix 20 years ago when it came out,
Yeah. Oh, Matrix.
and bending the spoons and
Yeah.
understanding, how he fought everyone, just energy and everything else.
Mhm.
It was a wake-up call. It was kind of a, ooh, I like this. I like where it's going. And then there's been various other movies and superhero movies with special techniques, etc., to use for the greater good. But also, what we're seeing at the present moment is an understanding of energy in itself.
Hmm.
When the quantum physics people got in and understood that quantum spirituality is a measurement of energy, and
Mhm.
understanding how that energy changes its
Right.
environment, how
Yep.
things grow, how things are more balanced, how things are
Yep.
more pure, the sciences behind it now.
Mhm.
and
Yes.
uh, and so with that we're seeing more propulsion towards accepting it.
Mhm.
This simple show like
Yep.
America's Got Talent, look
Mhm.
at how many gifted people we're seeing there, magicians and other things that in the last few years, oh, hooey, has to be a hoax. And now we're
Right.
looking at going, oh,
Mm.
magic. And it's
Math.
just because they knew how to manipulate that energy into
Right.
wonderment, right?
Right.
We are hungry for this, I think. I
Mhm.
think we're hungry and ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing we cannot forget is the compassion and gratitude. If
It's
you
the
don't,
key. Yeah.
all these monsters, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
The
but
only way to avoid from us not becoming monsters are the gratitude and love for that person.
yes, I
You
agree.
know?
Because
Uh,
if we step out of gratitude and compassion, and we step into comparison, competitiveness,
Yes.
and then what we're doing is always comparing. Will never be enough. We'll always be resentful of what they've got and what you haven't. We will never want to collaborate or cohesively with anyone, because it's always about me, myself, and I. Very narcissism, a lot of it. There's somebody very high up in the government in America that is a poster child for this. And what we see is they're not us people, they're not we people, they're I people. I. What you should be is, I am in my wholeness, bringing me to the collective.
Right.
Not about what am I going to gain from all of you for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the last thing we cannot forget before we go to a new stage of human beings.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's steering us to. And the animal kingdom is teaching us this. Our children are teaching us this.
Yeah.
The small acts of kindness. I do an awful lot of business shows, and it's absolutely wonderful to hear about industries and big business saying, where is the heart and soul of your business? It's no longer profit at the expense of people and planet. It is now people and planet for profit. Right, where everybody benefits. And if you haven't got a heart and soul representation of your business, why should anyone do business with you? We've had enough of the rape and the pillaging. We want to deal with people who come from the heart. They're doing it because they believe in it. They're doing it because they want to be of service. And if they make money, great. But money is not the conductor. And when you look at money as being the power, that's where the evil is. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, the screen was freeze, so I couldn't hear you for a while. But
oh, okay. So I'm saying about the way we look at money. And, money has become the power. It's become the God. The more money that somebody has, the more important they are. The less money has, the least important they are.
Right.
And so money is a tool.
Yeah.
It's an energy. Right. And of course, more money we have and we can consciously use it, right, the more we can benefit and enlighten other people. It was never meant to be one person having more money than everyone else, because that's where evil steps in. Whether the intent was there or not, the evil steps in, because they'll do anything to protect their money. And the more we chase money and the importance of money, the more we're going to be poor within ourselves.
Yeah. So there's two monies, good money and bad money.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Paper, it looks like it's paper, $1 paper, $100 bill, but that bill can become a positive energy.
Yes.
Become
the way you use it, or a negative one. Yeah.
If it's a positive energy, it's a great thing. If it's negative energy, it's not such a great thing.
No.
So,
and I think that's what we're looking at the present moment, the imbalance again.
Yeah.
We're looking at, why should this person be so rich up in their ivory tower when everybody is working on the foundation to maintain it and don't get any benefit for it? Right? So we're seeing those ivory tower foundations crumble. Right? Because they're detached from them. And the people are saying, why should I do that for you anymore? Right? And you're seeing individuals, instead of working for the big corporations, coming to collectively as solopreneurs or entrepreneurs or small groups, and doing more for mankind than the big organizations. And so this again is the shakeup of our politics, of our economy, of the domination of certain businesses. And we're looking at it and going, no one particular person or anyone could have all that power. There are very few people that can ever cope with all that power, because it contaminates the energy.
Right.
That's where the evil comes from, right?
Yeah. That's why making, again, but at the same time, make effort is also important too. Keep making efforts. So what I was going to say, don't rely on other people, in other words.
Yes.
Sometimes big corporations and big organizations have more power, but at the same time, I think as a person, as an individual person, I think it's important always to keep the mindset of like making effort and making progress and making things better for the future of this world, instead of trying to feed on something.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'm trying to say here, but there's different ways of thinking. Sometimes when people look at the huge things, they either they want to take them down, it's good to take
Yes.
it down. But at the same time, don't rely on
Right.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You have to be, if you're gonna say that, it's okay, but you have to make effort, and you should be the one making effort and making progress for the better future. So
Right. I mean, be
yeah,
responsible for your own actions.
that's right.
Right. We must always be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always used to say to my children, you're going to go and do something stupid. And as a mother, I can point out it's stupid. But
Uh-huh.
that's got nothing to do with the fact that I love you. My love for you does not waver.
Right.
But I'm going to hold you accountable for the action.
Yes.
Right? So we have also got mixed up with accountability with love and hate. I hate you because, or I love you because, and love should never have that kind of condition. Love is
Right.
love, right?
Right.
But we
Right.
can be accountable for our actions, but we can also rectify those actions in forgiveness and in
Yes.
repetition, not
Right.
repetition, in what's the word I'm looking for? Making up, for it with other people. And if we don't forgive ourselves, then we have that persecution. And that
Right.
persecution will also lead to feeling damned and inadequate. So
Sure.
a lot of the dialogue that we say to ourselves and that we practice and that we feed is extremely important to our whole psyche changing.
Yep. Agreed.
So the movie I can see it has subtitles. Is it going to be dubbed, or we're going to just see it in North America as subtitled?
Both subtitle
Both.
and dubbed version.
Yeah, I have no problems with subtitles. I just forget I'm even reading them, but a lot of people do.
Right. It's always nice to have an original
Yes.
voice, but sometimes people just want to read.
Right. Yeah.
We also
I like the original voice and just read, because then you're reading the character. They're not always. My ex-husband is Chinese, and initially when he took me to Chinese movies that was subtitled, I have to admit, he says, "Why are you laughing?" And I go, "Have you read that?" Actually, so it's got to be good translation.
But the overdub is also, we just finished it. It's really well made, well done. We actually had to do it under social distance. So we were in 4 different locations, all connected remotely. But it worked out well, and it came out. So
that is good.
VODs, of course, we're going to try to release the movie in the theater August 7th. But, with the where was happening, where we're going, you might not be, if it doesn't open in all the markets, then we might have to delay it, for the rest of the August. But
or maybe Netflix it or HBO it or something like that, because I mean, I've always got a theory that the millions of people at Netflix at the small amount adds up to a big amount, and the amount of people Netflixing right now is huge. I don't know if it's the same kind of system as Walmart with Netflix, what the cut is, but now my son went and got a massive TV. He said, I didn't need to go back to the theater. I've got it here. So sometimes we are looking at other ways, aren't we? So if you don't look there, then you've got many other options.
So we're going to come up with a VOD on September 1st.
Right.
So we're going to try the theater the 1 month. After that, just forget about it and just go VOD and Amazon and iTunes and others.
Right.
So hopefully people will be able to see this movie and maybe understand what we're talking about here.
Right. The thing is, we know people learn best through storytelling.
Yeah.
I just was interviewing somebody who is an author, and she's doing a trilogy on somebody who is inspired by somebody to take their own journey and become. And so whether it's a book or whether it's a movie, what we do is we look at, the hero taking care of the bad guy, yes, because we would like to do that. But it's always like, well, do I have that in me? Could I do that in that situation? What can I do? You want to plant those seeds in people. And let them grow, right? Because it's there for entertainment, it's there for enlightenment, but it's also invitational.
Right. Movies are great, stories are great.
I'm a big movie buff.
So fascinated with movies and with music and sound, everything put together. You'll really connect to the deeper side of yourself. I think movies have that power. So that's why I think it's important we bring out the positive energy to the
Mm.
people, not the negative energy.
Right,
Do
right,
as much as possible to bring the positiveness,
right.
in ourselves.
Yeah.
Bring out the positiveness.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not like, some shows where it's just about good and evil and the good gets the evil.
yeah,
And
yep,
it's like, and that feels more warrior like,
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of, is there another way? Is there
right,
another way?
exactly, yeah.
And we know that David and Goliath, like on the World of Dance competition, this
Mm-hmm,
one little tiny girl had to go up against this group of
mm-hmm,
older dancers, and they came out and
mm-hmm,
did their whole thing, and then
yeah,
there's this tiny little girl that came on and blew the roof off, and it's like, do not look at the magnitude of people or size.
right.
There is a giant in every one of us.
Mm-hmm,
All right,
mm-hmm,
there's the
yeah,
mighty in every one of us.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just waiting to be found.
right. That's a good way. But this movie is just like that. We are not
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, or we are not
Mm-hmm.
Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's small, independent, but the little giant is residing inside of this movie.
Yes, yes. Let it out. Let it out. So right now, how do people kind of follow you or know when it's going to be
Well,
out?
yeah, the best would be to go to our website, which is www.realexorcistmovie.com.
realexorcistmovie.com. Right.
realexorcistmovie.com. You go there and you get the trailer and you get to see all the dates, the
Mm-hmm.
latest dates, and when it's going to come out, which platform on VOD, all the information. And we also do Facebook and Instagram as well. And we post just about every day now. We put a lot of emphasis in those. So if you go to the website, you'll have little icons, and
Yes.
you can follow us up and enjoy the movie.
What's good about, I'm not an Instagram follower because everything is by the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm enough on the computer
Sure.
rather than that. But what I like about Facebook and LinkedIn now and again,
Mm-hmm.
well, actually LinkedIn has really been improved considerably, is that there can be a dialogue.
Right.
And the
Right.
thing is,
The
people can
dialogue.
see the movie. Oh, I loved it. It did this for
Yeah.
me. I saw it. It did that for me. Or I want
Mm-hmm.
to see it because of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're wanting. We're desperate for interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yeah.
may not be able to do it physically, but you're using exactly the same energy online as you
Mm-hmm.
would be physically meeting people.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So you can start kind of following people. What did you think
Mm-hmm.
of it? And even form your own little club if you want,
Yeah.
right? But it's that interactiveness
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
and the discovery from what other
Uh-huh.
people saw of it that makes it exciting.
Yeah. I agree. Totally agree. So yeah, Facebook and internet is interesting tool. I think again,
We won't be
it,
doing this without it.
it has to be. That's right. It has to be used for the positive thing.
Yes.
For the
Yeah, and
exactly.
everybody says, "Oh,
Like,
Facebook's so negative." It is if that's what you feed. It's an algorithm.
right.
Like life
Right.
is an algorithm.
That's right.
If you're feeding the positive will come to you. If you're
Mm-hmm.
feeding the negative, that's all you're going to get.
Yep. Yep.
So watch what you're saying and who you're following on Facebook, and you'll get the people you
That.
want, not the people you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. And you'll be connected to beautiful people around the world.
Yes. Oh my God.
Beautiful Facebook.
Yes. And the amount of people I've met said, I've got to interview you,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing. And I've been doing this 8 years now, 7 years my own network. And I have met some extraordinary people, first
Mm-hmm.
time podcasters, didn't think they really had a story to tell, and
Mm-hmm.
now have gone on to their own shows, their own anything else, and
Right.
they're in that discovery of self. And that's what we want. Well, I interview ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
Mm-hmm.
And to realize the extraordinariness that lies within us. Stop
Mm-hmm.
selling yourself short. Let it out.
Right. Wow, you're contributing something to the world.
Well, it's
Please.
just like people like you doing what you're doing, and it's all sorts. And but I think one of the good things about with the COVID is that people aren't in the studios.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing these Zoom interviews and talk shows from home. We're
Yeah.
seeing them more relaxed, less makeup and hair,
True.
in their own environment.
True.
It's not the producer saying 3 minutes off,
Yeah. Right.
and the conversations are deeper. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing more honesty,
Honesty.
more people really laying it out, deeper conversations, more relaxed, more real.
Yeah.
More real.
Natural and real. Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, true. That is true.
It'll be hard for them to go back the other way, quite honestly.
Yeah. Some of the celebrities and the people who just watch it in the TV, they just come out in the Facebook and say, "Hi guys." Like,
Yes.
what?
Yeah.
Yes, that kind of natural energy in the realness of the people.
Yes.
Are what's connecting us together to begin with, right? So
what's the common denominator? Because you're Japanese, I'm English, we look different. What's the common denominator that we have here? Right? We've both ignited our heart and souls and want to get behind sharing the stories of it. Right? We both believe in positive energy from different parts of the world. But what makes that so different? This is the skin you're in, this is the skin I'm in. What's inside of us? That's really what counts.
Yep. I agree.
So lots of movements happening, lots of positive things happening. It's a really good time to see all of this. And so having your movie come out that is, inspirational, invitational, entertaining, but leave that scene of wonderment. If I come away from a movie and there hasn't been a question in me, I feel that movie didn't feed me. But it gives me a question of, I wonder, or, then I know it's giving me food for thought.
Right.
And that's what you want. And your movie is food for thought.
Yes. Oh, thank you for putting it that way. Very nice.
We want to ignite those hearts and souls and spirits, but first the mind has to have permission to ignite the hearts, souls, and spirits, right? And when the mind says it's okay, allow, explore, be open to receive. That's when the spirit can come in. That's when the teachings can come in. But the head has got to get out of the way and say, let it be.
Let it be, yes. Be a water and let it flow.
Yes. Be the air, dance amongst the trees. Yes, absolutely. And when you're there, it's a wonderful place to be, isn't it?
Yes.
Definitely. Well, it's a different way to share the teachings. But, taking a story and just kind of re-elaborating it and making it kind of for the times, but then the honest truth of the foundation is there. Is a wonderful way to share a story. And it will ignite people. It will invite people, and it will gather its own momentum. In my own vision, it will gather its own momentum online more than anywhere else, because it's easier to be shared and spoken about because online is where it's at right now. But I know I don't need to wish you luck. I know you've got luck, and I know it's going to go well. And we need more of this messaging, but find the hero within ourselves and understand the demons that are there are within us, but the demons that are in that person you're fighting is somebody who maybe is unwilling to find the hero within themselves. And sometimes you can't change them. Sometimes it's just a question of delete them from your life. Right?
But even you delete it, you have to believe that at the bottom they are the light.
Yes. Wish them light, wish them love and light, and hope they find it. But you're not there to cure everybody or save everyone. You're there to be the light that invites them to want to save themselves.
Sure.
Right?
I agree.
Right. Well, I look forward to when the movie comes up. Definitely. I shall be there. I love this type of thing. I will definitely be there anxiously watching it. And to give everybody the site again, it is realexorcistmovie.com.
That's right.
Right. Very simple. And everything is on there. There's a trailer as well that people can watch. It is in subtitles right now, but it's going to give you the gist of the story and everything that is going on there. And, being open and willing to learn from it.
Thank you so much for introducing my movie in your show. I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you doing it. Anything that just lifts our spirits, literally, I'm there for. So thank you. Thank you for making it. And thank you to your master for having the story and writing all these books and doing his part into igniting it, because we need him. We definitely do. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And until next time, folks, remember, the answers are always there. You've just got to be willing to see them. Until next time, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.